Hello everybody, this is Scott Sedita, acting coach to the stars. Don't go anywhere, Profiles is coming right up.
Welcome to Profiles. I'm Jeanette Ng. Today's guest is one of Hollywood's most sought-after acting coaches, Scott Sedita. Over the course of his 25-year career, Sedita has helped launch the careers of actors such as Courteney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, Julianne Moore, and Jason Alexander. He was also recently voted Best Acting Coach of 2008 by Backstage West. After a short break, we'll join our host, Mickey Burns, as he welcomes acting coach Scott Sedita to Profiles. Welcome back to Profiles. Tapping into his 25 years of experience as one of Hollywood's top acting coaches, Sedita is currently celebrating the release of his book, Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood. In the book, Sedita breaks down the 3 steps to success: talent, confidence, perseverance, and shows how these 3 elements work together to build a successful acting career. So let's join our host, Mickey Burns, on location at Ashford and Simpson Sugar Bar in the heart of New York City as he welcomes acting coach Scott Sedita to Profiles.
Well, welcome everyone. My name is Scott Sedita. I've been an acting coach here in Los Angeles for 10 years. I'm going to take you through stages and exercises that will help you access your emotions. Do you believe in yourself?
I do believe in myself.
You're good enough?
That was me when I was younger, Ma. I've learned a lot.
And look, you've embarrassed me.
Just because maybe I've made some mistakes doesn't mean that I don't want the same thing that you wanted for me, because I do.
That is such a cruel, horrible thing to say.
You're very there in the moment, weren't you?
Yeah.
Scott Sedita, welcome to our show, Profiles.
How you doing, I should say.
Yes, and for our viewers, you are one of Hollywood's most sought-after acting coaches and have been for many years.
Okay.
You're also an author, and your latest book is titled Scott Sedita's Guide to Making It in Hollywood. And of course, you basically, in this book, give advice and direction for those looking to make it in show business.
Right, it's really in show business, or to be successful, to be a successful actor or be successful artist, actually. It's also for artists, musicians, singers, dancers.
Sure. Now, you've been doing this for 25 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes me sound old.
Yeah. How many aspiring actors venture out to Hollywood each and every year in hopes of being discovered?
Oh, I would say thousands. I would say
thousands.
Yeah.
Now, those that head out to Hollywood, in your opinion, how many of them would you say have little or no acting experience?
Oh, acting experience? I would say half of them.
Okay.
Half of them come out with no acting experience. But it really depends. Once they get there, it really depends whether or not that they have talent. That really separates everything. Talent to act is an innate ability. You have to be born with it.
Right. But you've been doing this for 25 years, as I
Yes.
mentioned, and your experience in show business is extensive. But I read somewhere that you first started out not as a coach, but as a writer and an agent.
Yes, I was an agent for, I was an agent when I was 22, so I was an agent for 8 years. And I started a lot of actors. I participated in their grooming them for success.
Sure. As an actor today, this world, how important is it to have an agent? And from what I understand, why is it so difficult to get one?
Well, because there's a lot more actors than there are agents.
Okay.
So that's number one. And, you know, a lot of actors need to prepare in order to get an agent. So that's a process. And that's a good process to have, actually, because I think that you have to practice your talent in order to, when the opportunity comes, so you have to be good. And it's very difficult to get an agent, but that's all part of the process, and so that's something you need to do.
Yeah, and the advantage of, let's say, having an agent as opposed to not having one is what?
Oh, well, more opportunities. How about that?
Yeah.
I think that you don't have to have an agent to get opportunities, but having an agent gives you many, many more opportunities.
Yeah. Now, in the book, which I read, very interesting, you break down the 3 steps towards success in this business, which you said was talent, confidence, and perseverance.
Yes.
Let's start with the obvious one, which is talent. You mentioned something you're born with.
Yeah, you have to be born with talent. I call it the acting gene. It has to be an innate ability to act. And I believe that actually, whatever artistic endeavor you're inclined to do, it involves everything else. And if American Idol taught us anything in the audition portion of that show, if they can't sing, they will never be able to sing. The same thing with acting. It has to be an innate ability.
Right.
And once you have that innate ability, then you practice, practice, practice.
Do you know immediately as a coach if somebody has that innate ability?
Yes.
How many seconds does it take?
Oh, you know, a good read. One good read, I could tell. I've been doing it for a long time, too, I can tell. There are many actors who go through the process of trying to learn it, and there is some skill you can get, but when it comes down to it, that skill needs to match an instinct, and they both need to be working together to make a rich, full character. And skill alone won't do that.
Sure. Now, in the book, you also said that, which was interesting, building confidence and sustaining it is not easy.
No, it isn't.
Why so?
Well, the good news is that, unlike talent, confidence can be learned.
Yeah.
You can learn to be confident, even if you came from an upbringing where your parents didn't instill confidence in you.
Sure.
And once you have that self-confidence, the next thing you need to do is have the confidence in the craft that you are doing, and that's really important. I mean, you're an interviewer.
Right.
The more when you first started interviewing, the more interviews you did, the more confident you felt about your interviews,
Right.
and therefore, then the better the interviews came out. It had to be that way because practice does really, not necessarily make perfect, but you can really see that practice-honed person in the skill that they have.
Right. Along the journey, one of the problems that most people face in show business is controlling negative thoughts.
Oh,
Because with the rejection and so forth, most people experience that. How does one do that?
You take those negative thoughts and you transfer them to positive thoughts. You turn them into positive thoughts. I am
that's
good
I like
enough.
that.
You know,
Yeah,
we walk
yeah.
around a lot of times saying, "I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be successful. I'm going to do terrible in this interview," and that comes from some past event experience that was
Right.
negative that brings these negative thoughts. Turning them around saying, "I am good enough. I am going to do wonderful in that audition." I mean, that's really important in anybody's life. Those negative thoughts are in our subconscious.
Right.
You know, and
right.
we say them over and over, and sometimes we say them out loud in front of people. You know, I'm fat, you know?
Can you make it in Hollywood with tremendous confidence and maybe just a little bit of talent?
Hold it. You can, a little bit of talent, meaning there is talent in there.
There's some talent.
You do have the acting gene?
A little bit.
Yes, because the more you work the acting gene, the better you become. Yes, it's true that a lot of people have much more talent than other people. But that doesn't mean they can't have a career. There are a lot of actors who have terrific careers in television and film that might not have as much talent as Meryl Streep.
Right. Well said.
One of you is going to be the coach, and one of you is going to be a player. You want to be the player? Okay. He's letting you go. Exactly.
You off the team.
How you just gonna do me like
Because
that?
that's the way it is. I told you.
You just said I was your best player.
You know, you're my best player, but you don't listen. You're hard-headed. You a me guy. You're not a team guy.
What do you mean? I've
Look
been
how you
a
acting right
weak
now.
guy for 6 years.
Step
Man, I
out
can
field for one
barely
game.
walk. I
We
can't
got
even
two.
walk. I can't even get out my
What
bed
game?
in the morning because of y'all.
Okay, good. Not bad. Both of you, not bad.
Stay right where you are. We'll be back with much more in Profiles with Hollywood insider Scott Sedita after these important messages. Welcome back to Profiles. I'm Jeanette Eng. Always in demand, Sedita's coaching expertise has been requested by numerous TV, magazine, and reality shows, including E-Series Fight for Fame, USA Network's Character Fantasy, and MTV's Adventures in Hollywood. Now back to Mickey Burns with acting guru to the stars, Scott Sedita.
Okay, the topic is going to be tacos. Go, loud.
Tacos are incredible. I just want to all over my body.
Okay, good, very good. Okay, guys, good.
The next thing we had to do was learn conviction, contraviction.
It means that you say something with 100% conviction, then you go against it with as much conviction, contraviction. Let's start with you.
Don't like your haircut, but it does make your gigantic head look smaller.
Very nice.
I hate that hat. But can I borrow it?
Not bad. I like that.
And Scott, the third step towards success as an actor. Perseverance.
Yes.
In the book, you said that's the most difficult. Why is
It's
that?
because it goes from actually starting out as a young actor, starting out doing the grunt work to staying in the game. Perseverance covers someone's career. I represented Courteney Cox when I was an agent.
Right.
And at 19, she got the Bruce Springsteen video. And,
Right.
and that just...
Dancing in
the
the
Dark, absolutely. And overnight, she became Who's That Girl? Everybody wanted to know her. And what was great is that from one gig after the other, she finally ended up doing Family Ties.
Yep.
But what's interesting, and I think it's really to her credit, that it was almost 5 years later that Friends came along. That's not to say she didn't work, but she wasn't on the radar as she was when she was doing Family Ties until 1993, doing Friends. So she stayed in the game. She persevered. I also represented Christopher Meloni, who's on Law and Order, and he came to this town when he was 21, 22 years old, right after a 4-year program in college, an acting program. Came to town, he couldn't get arrested, you know? He couldn't get arrested, no agent wanted him. And I met him when he was 26, and he said to me, it's been 5 years of really trying to make this happen. It's not working. I took him on, he booked his first gig, and then booked his second one. And of course, he's never stopped booking. He was on 2 TV shows. The point is that those were 2 different paths in perseverance. One started out right away, had to take a little more time for the next step. One took a little time at the beginning, and once he hit, he was on his way.
Is there a point, in your opinion, that where you feel like perseverance becomes unrealistic in trying to be an actor?
That's really up to the person and how much they're willing to do what they need to do. Let me tell you something. Honestly, if you stay in the game, from my experience, it does happen. It really does. You might just be a wonderful working actor where you're able to pay your mortgage, but the guy that people see on the street going, I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. You know. So I really do believe you have to be a lifer.
Now, probably the opposite of perseverance would maybe procrastination, and you have a great quote in the book which I loved, and you said procrastination is the grave in which opportunity gets buried. I love that quote.
Yes. You know, I have a little saying in L.A. That I tell my actors this. You know, in L.A., you can wake up one morning and all of a sudden you find that it's 3 years later. And you look around and you say, what have I done with my time? And you realize that your time has been procrastinating what you were supposed to do, what you need to do to fulfill your destiny. And that means mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I think it's really important for somebody, an actor or anyone or anybody actually wanting to do something that turns into a successful career, is to really want it.
How does luck play into the equation?
Listen, I believe in luck. I believe that we all have luck in our personal lives. If you win the lottery, you're lucky. If you survive a car crash that totals the car, but you walk out unscathed, you're lucky. You know, I flew by accidentally in my car, yellow, that turned red as I was going, and there was a cop right there, and I go, oh my God! And as I turned, I saw the cop. He looked away. I thought, I'm lucky.
I'm lucky.
When it has to do with your career, when it has to do with what you want, luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And preparing all the time will bring you luck, will bring you opportunities. And you know what? I believe that we make our own luck. So the more we prepare, the more luck we're making to come our way.
Fear.
Oh, well.
How does fear,
fear,
get in the way and stop us from achieving many of our goals?
Well, I talk a lot about fear in the book, which is part of section 2, the 3 steps to failure. And I start with the idea in the book, you have to know what you want, but with every want, there's an obstacle. You know, it's life's friction in life, you know. And that obstacle is fear. And it's fear that stops us from doing our want.
You bet,
And the thing about fear that you need to know is that fear is not a fact. Fear is a feeling. And if I'm fearful, the only way that I deal with my fear is that I must experience it. I actually must be here and experience it and work through it. Because once you do that on a